All right. First of all, I'm tired of the elderly abuse in this country, making elderly chase after a score that they cannot achieve without paying because they have a bot, making the high score unfeasible. Um, what else? Yeah. The other thing is, I don't understand why anyone that doesn't have a computer that knows how to do Python or something not build these programs that's on Facebook, and just put it on a USB and just sell it that way to the elderly, and then have instructions to just write on a piece of paper their score to whoever they're playing against. Facebook also is a glorified photo album. Yeah. You know what? I'd rather have the story in the house listening to their story than listen to it on Facebook. Alright, that's another thing. The other thing is Amazon. It is just a glorified catalog. Google, just a glorified library. Alright, YouTube, just a glorified festival. If you ever heard of festivals, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Every day you are engaging in a festival. And what is it? Your audience with a thumb up, thumb down, which they can't even do anymore, and a count meter to your festival that you are actively participating in with your crowd. If you really want that, just go to a festival. And plus, on top of that, if you made your own festival and you had your own video and you sat there and had people come and watch it, it's just like a theater, right? You can charge for the coming in of it, and you'd be in control of how much you want to have someone pay. Instead of waiting for someone to be on the internet, come watch it for free, and then you hope that Google pays you. And that's my rant. Oh, no, there's one more thing. Also, there's only about, well, I'll say 5, because I know people will get upset if I just say 4. There's 5 industries that you don't need a computer or subscription base in services anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like, the 4 honest fucking things you could do without having permission from the government, having a license, or anything like that. There's only 4 things you could do. And oh, I guess that's not true. I guess there's gardening too. So actually so I guess 6 then. Yeah, okay. 6 things that you could be honest in. Gardening, or, pruning outside, cutting grass, stuff like that, right? That stuff. Second, locksmithing. Only thing, certain areas you do have to have a license, but it's one of those things that is actively being hampered on all the time. Third, upholstery. So like sewing and shit like that. Upholstery is one of those things. Like, yeah, like that's where you sit. It make you real happy if you got your couch reupholstered and stuff thrown away. The other thing that goes with sewing too is clothes making. Another thing, don't need a computer for. The other thing I would say is paper making, and books, right? So paper making, books, printing press, right? Old school. When I'm in what was the other thing? I think that was it. I think, yeah. Oh, and cleaning, other thing, and cleaning. Those are like the only services you can do that you can be honest in. Because everything else, like even your car, right? Most people are only getting their car repaired when something happens, and it's usually through insurance or they're messed up. Like I think most people are just like happy when they get into an accident because they're like, okay, I don't have to pay for it. Even though look how much monthly. If you added up all the insurance payments that you had, you could have probably bought a new car. The other thing is, what was I going after? Yeah, like even home, right? How much insurance you pay on your home? I have another stripe about that. What I want to know is why isn't the tax treasurer getting sued for emotional damage like every single day. Like, I don't understand this tax assessment, but when you sit there and say that you can steal someone's home and the taxes haven't reached the value of the home and you're selling it to an investor, I feel like that's stealing. No matter which way you go about it, that's stealing. The only way you should be able to sell someone's asset is if the taxes are over the value of that property. That's how I feel anyway. Alright, what was the other thing? Yeah, I think that's about my rant. Yeah, that's my other thing, yeah. I don't see why we don't just sell things on USB. If we're gonna create something, why are we selling it on the internet? It's just glorified bullshit. And they're like, yeah, you need a subscription, like, to not have ads and shit. Like, do you not know how the ad system is? Like, fuck ads, If I want to see ads, I go outside. If I want to see ads, I go eat dinner at fucking restaurant. Paper right there, man. Like, there is plenty of places to advertise, and it's not on a fucking computer. And sorry for my language for there, like, it's just crazy, Like, at the end of the day, we're all working for free because we have all these, we have internet subscriptions, and then we have power, water, all that shit. Then the fucking subscription just to access the other subscriptions that we have, like, And then you have the subscription for your house, which is another, it's like, what are you doing? How much more of this feudalism are you going to do, So, yeah, Anyway, that's my rant, Oh, another thing, a little secret I found out. Tobacco, you don't have to smoke that. Like, you don't have to smoke it. Jewels, all that kind of stuff. Tobacco itself will absorb through your skin. Did you know that? No, you have to be worried about harming yourself when you do that. You could go over the dosage, but usually you'd feel it anyway. But yeah, anyway, you don't have to smoke it. Yeah. And the other thing is, you don't have to process it either. So you can just have it just planted in a green form. Green leaf, that's it. Slap it on. Bam, you got nicotine. You don't have to do any of that crazy stuff. Just grow it, plant it, bam, you got it. Because it's called green leaf poison. I think it's called green leaf poison. I think. So yeah, like anyone that picks it without having gloves on or anything like that, they can get that, right? They get sick and everything else, when you're processing tobacco or whatever, right? But yeah, so it shows that you can just have the leaf and you got nicotine. You don't have to sit there and smoke it and go through all that, So yeah, you don't need patches. You don't need all this stuff. Yeah, just grow a plant, bam, you slap it on, So that's what I've been learning, Yeah. Also, the other tripe I have is, why can't we drive 1800s vehicles? Why do they say safety and all this stuff? How can they say safety when we, like the super PAC fun and shit like that, the super fun poison sites and shit. How the hell can they say safety? You poison the whole world and you're sitting there saying safety on a car? The whole design of it is deadly anyway, no matter which way you go about it. If you go faster than 10 miles per hour, you've already put yourself in danger. And to say that you can't have a vehicle that only goes 15 to 20 miles per hour on the road seems kind of ridiculous. And they'll say emissions or something. Like, no, it just seems like you just want us to being subscription based. And you keep showing us over and over again that it's just, yeah, you just want subscriptions. And then, like, I'm not on the left either, with that shit either, like, oh, you should pay us. No, I don't believe in that either. I don't know. I believe in just, self-efficiency. It's true. Yeah. I believe in self-efficiency. Now, do I get to participate in that? No. I have a lot of people actively against me to not allow me to be self-efficient. Everyone is. It's not just the community that you go out to. It's everywhere, It doesn't matter what place or, if you got a zip code, a post office, a fire department, or anything like that, and you're in an area like that, you are not having true freedom. Alright? So, it doesn't matter where I go, anywhere in Michigan. There is no freedom little spot that you can go to. If it's got code, you ain't getting freedom there. You got any place that has code, zoning, any of that shit, yeah, it's not a free place. Even independent cities, it's not really free. And anyway, even the county I live in, the city I live in is corporate. But even an independent town, you still, still, kind of no, but the way Michigan works, or any fucking country, or any country really. They just pressure the little towns to not be independent, be corporate. But then you can go into that too, There's a lot of people that went into the rules and were like, yeah, we're supposed to have freedom to the roads before you did all that, and then all that kind of stuff. And sit there and say, yeah, I'm sovereign, shit like that, There's a whole bunch of shit you could do with that, like, But I think that's about my rant, though, on things. But yeah, those are pretty much the only things you can get away with people regulating you and telling you that you can't do this or that, and it be at a low, a service, it's one of the things you can't really, well, you could try, I guess, but, I just don't see people getting rid of paper. It'd be kind of crazy, That'd be crazy, right? I mean, because paper's made out of everything, right? Shit, Anyway, not many honest things you could do that's, doesn't require a lot of equipment, that's what I'm saying. But, I mean, yeah. Yeah, because housing and cars, highly regulated. But, doing activities in them for a service, depends. You trying to build a home? Good luck. Trying to build a car? Good luck. Shit, even trying to rent? Good luck. Man, Well, that's the end of my rant.